Hey guys, this is Miss Bearfield. We're going to start in today and we're going to do our little cupcake colored pencil project. And you're going to get this picture in your email so you can print that off and do a transfer if you'd like. I just drew mine off. You can do it however you want. We're just going to work in our books because that's what you have. And I've chosen my colors already, but you remember from the very beginning, if you can see the color in the picture, then that's a good color to use. If it's really different, then your cupcake might be a little more done, or it might be a little bit different color. That's fine. So we're going to get started today. It's going to be a two-parter for this one. We're going to work on the frosting and stuff, and then the cupcake next week, along with the shadow. So let's get started.
Perfect.
All right, guys. I have chosen this golden ochre. Oh, it's burnt ochre. Excuse me. Color to start the top part of my my drawing with. It's close to that color. Whatever color you have is going to still make it look, as long as you use these different techniques and stuff, it's still going to look like a good cupcake. I'm just lightening some of my pencil, and we are going to be working around all of the little colored bits, because you don't want to go brown and then try to put yellow or pink or something on top, and that's just really not going to work. So we're going to start with the top color. It's almost like there is a little bit of like a little frost, just tiny little bit on the tip, and then it immediately starts turning a little bit darker. So we're going to go to sienna brown. If you don't have that and you want to just go into an umber color, then that's fine too. We're just working light and light, and I'm just working in this section here, this first section. Notice it's got a lot of white, and that's why I have the white in my hand. I'm going to burnish that brown into the surface of the paper. So that it gives it a highlighted look. And if it's not dark enough, you know, you can always go back in, and there's a few of those little sprinkles. So we're going to add that into our first section. I'm going to run go get my glasses so I can see better. Okay, I'm back. And we're going to start this next row right here, and that is a more redder brown, like the beginning brown, and then it immediately goes dark brown and almost black going around your little sprinkles. So we're going to go back to that first color, kind of pressing down, making it that little edge, and then we're going to go with our dark brown. Whoops. I don't know how that got in there. There we go, dark umber. And immediately start putting in some of these really dark chocolate looking colors. I know it's looking very gray. This is just one of the colors. And then you have to go back to the first color and put that on top. So lots and lots of layers is going to really help us to build the look of this cupcake. I think I'm at, go ahead and add a little touch of dark black, because this is this piece of the swirl of the cupcake is actually casting a shadow onto the next little swirl. And then we come back out into the light again, excuse me, with the really pale color, yes, the really pale color. And I'm going to go around, I have two here. That's the green one, that's the purple one, okay. Oh, I may have gone over the yellow one, whatever. There's one less sprinkle. So I'm going to go around this one, and then this one set up on its edge. And right next to this line is going to go back into our dark brown, which is our better number. But we can't just ever leave it alone. So we're going to go back to the redder brown, which is our sienna color. Put that right on top. And it comes around right like this. And right here on this row, there is, just like the first one, it's coming out into the light. So I'm going to put that white on it. I'm going to add a little bit more to this other side just to really separate it from that second one. Then I'm going to go into my black. And the black is down alongside this little bitty sprinkle. Whoops. I hate to hear that. Then we're going to come back out into our next section. I'm skipping over this little space because it is a pretty white shine on the frosting. And it is a nice brown, going a little bit darker brown in the corner. Just following the pattern that you see. And then right on the very outside, it is also very dark. So I'm going to put the dark brown, and I'm going to add just a touch of black along the bottom. So that I have this little twist in my, oh, sorry, I need the white. In my frosting. And we're going to add that to it. And we're going to work our way down. So starting here in the center with these specific sprinkles starts this twist. And notice it's dark here, and then it's medium here, light here, and then it gets a medium redder tone as it goes around the corner. So all you're going to do is follow the colors that you see there. And so we're going to start with our dark right up next to this section. We're going to go around that little sprinkle. I'm going to remember that one of these days. And come away from it just a little bit. Then we're going to go to our light color and go over some of that dark color. And then bring it out light. And then we're going to go with our sienna color as it goes around the corner there. So I'm not pushing really hard. It's not really burnished or anything. But what I'm trying to set up is that there's a highlight right here. So to make that highlight really stand out, you can use either a cream. So I pulled out the cream color for this highlight. It's not as white as this one up here is more white, and this one is more cream. So I'm adding another color to my hands here. And I'm just going to add that little highlight in. Makes it a little chocolatey looking curve. And this little line is not supposed to be there. Whoops. Okay. So there's one going flat, one going sideways like this, and one going round, and you can see the edge of it as well. Okay. Now I know that's very dark. I just wanted y'all to see if you accidentally erase something, and just go back and put it in and then lighten it out. That is a very dark pencil. Okay, so now we're going to come up around this edge, and I have drawn a light line, and I really don't want that to show too much, so that I can tell myself where the difference between this edge color and then right after the edge, how dark that gets before it comes into the highlight. So I'm going to use my reddish brown, and I'm going to come out into that area. Same color I used here. Then I'm going to go to the lightest color that I used at the very, very top. Very subtle difference. And we're going to have to go on the top part. But then right next to it gets pretty dark pretty fast. So this is our umber color. And we're going to use that on the top piece here, just to separate the difference between this swirl and the other swirl. We're going to put a little bit of a line, and then we're going to soften that out. Make sure whichever way you turn your reference, you turn your book, you turn your reference as well. So now we're going to burnish in that dark, leaving that little bit of a line. Coming up around this next little piece of sprinkles. I should have drawn this so much bigger. I hope y'all can see this. And as it comes around that corner, it is not light brown, it is definitely dark. So we're going to come in here with this darker color, going around our little sprinkles very carefully. Keep a sharp pencil at this point. And you're going to continue to go with your frosting, following the pattern in your reference photo. So it's dark, and then right next to there's another bright. But the highlight on this particular one is on this curve. And it's just the way that the frosting is squeezed out of the little bag, or whatever you want to call it, you know. So we're going to have a line come in like this. And that's this line. And it's going to be very dark. And it follows that line all the way up to those sprinkles as a very dark. We're going to go around our sprinkles. I may end up going back and redrawing this so much larger. And that little sprinkle is laying back like this. Okay, so I'm going to get it, it's pretty dark along the bottom. And then it gets a little bit lighter. So I'm using my sienna color. And then this little edge right here is the lightest color. And that follows this dark path. There's almost always a light right next to a dark. And then the golden color right on top. If you feel like it, you can go back and burnish, you know, some darkers later. just to really emphasize some of those color changes, and go back and add blacks if you'd like. There's little guy is only the side of it, can you see? Okay, well, there we go. And this one is not flat, but this comes in front of it. I see what it's doing. Okay. So it's kind of hidden by one of the curls and the frosting twist. All right, I'm going to finish this up without any more talking, and you can just follow along, and let's see how far we can get with this. All right, well, I'm liking the way that this is turning out. There are these little divots. Now, if I would have drawn this a little bit larger, you see these little pits that are in the frosting. If you want to go back and add those little dots, you could either do that with the dark brown or you could do it with the black. There's this little section has like a little kind of divot in there, and it just kind of looks round, like a little air bubble when the frosting was being, squirted out and stuff like that. So you can do that if you'd like. That's up to you. You can always come back in and darken up any places that you need to get your frosting to look really like it has a highlight side and a shadowed side, obviously. So if you want to come in and add in some blacks at this point, this would be a good time to because you're just going to need a few. It's not going to be a whole lot. That's a little piece there. And then we're just going to round that off. Okay, so this is our frosting, and the little sprinkles are dark on one side and light on the other on each one, except when they're turned around. So I have, this mineral orange. I want a regular brighter orange. I'm going to go get some brighter colors and come back and show you how to do the sprinkles so that they look like they're in shadow or if they're in highlight. And I'll be right back. Okay, I just went and grabbed a few bright colors that I knew were in there. I don't think I have every color. I don't have the teal and I don't have the violet. But actually, I do have a violet if I wanted to use that. That's from another project. But we're going to pick one of these little sprinkles. Sorry, got to get rid of that pencil line, especially if we're going to do light colors. You don't want to have any pencil line. Now this one is a white one, and it just looks very white. There's hardly any shadow on this side whatsoever. So if you wanted to, you could actually take the blue. What makes that white one show up is the background. So if you want to do one that's just a little bit shaded on one side, then I'm just going to make it a light blue. I'm just barely coloring it in and shadowing on the shadow side. I mean, that's pretty much it. For the big round yellow one, really should have lightened those pencil lines more. So I'm going to come in with a tad bit of orange on the shadow side of that one. This one sticking out here is pink, so I'm literally going to erase that as much as possible. And so this is a really pale pink piece, and then it's really pale on the outside, and then it's darker pink showing the side of it. So to make that stand out, I'm going to take my white and use it for the pastel side of the pink. I hope you can see that. And this bigger one, this is where I'm using the white, and then this side is the darker side. So that's two yellows together, and since some of the pencil is still not erasing there, I don't know what the problem is, then I'm just going to use a darker color. I'm just going to change the sprinkle. It's no big deal. This is the outline of this sprinkle, and the side of it is darker than the front half. So all I have to do is color in the whole thing, make it a little bit darker on the one side, and then I'm going to add a highlight. On green, you could use white, or I'm going to use yellow. So I'm going to brighten that green up on the side where it's not in shadow, and then add that in. Now, as you can see in some of these, you may have to go back and make sure it's added all the way to the chocolate area. So this triangle right here is an absolute black. So let me get all these pencils together. Here we go. So that is this triangle right here. So I'm going to go back and create that space in between the two little sprinkles there as a really dark, put a little bit of a shadow even on there, a little bit of shadow on that yellow one. It's going to help it stand out too. And then one that looks like it's coming out from underneath it. I got all these yellows together, so I'm just going to make this one orange. So let's put a highlight on it, kind of burnish that baby in there, and I'm just going to finish up all the little sprinkles, and then we'll be finished with this part of our cupcake. This side is darker, and this side is lighter. That's the orange one, and what comes out of it is purple. So we can do this lavender. It does the same thing, really dark on one side, so I'm pushing harder, and then it's lighter on the other. And these are just tiny little bitty details that if you do them this large, they're really going to look good. So this one is darker in the middle, softly touching the edge, and then highlighting, putting that white on top. I'm actually going to go back in and make that a little darker green. You can do this with two different colors if you'd like. So say you had a darker purple. So I've colored this one, and then the shadow side is a little darker purple. So if you wanted to do that, you can. I'm just going to use the white because I made my cupcake so small. I made it actual size, like you were going to eat it instead of jumbo, and I'm constantly telling y'all, you know, larger than life is so much better, and then I didn't even do it. So here we go. It's a blue one. Shadow side, highlight, done. All right, I'm just going to continue putting in my sprinkles. That one is pink. Kind of hidden there. Highlights on this side. There we go. This one laying down is yellow amongst all those yellows, so I think I shall do it blue. Oops. It is darker on this side. Very pale on that side with a white. Make the second one yellow. Second yellow one kind of a greenish color, just because I can. little lighter just so it shows up. Some of these are not going to show up unless you really press hard. That's the orange one, so that one's purple. I'm just going to kind of block in the colors at this point. That one is green. Now I just did that one green, so we'll do this one. I'll do a yellow since I've used all these other yellows up. So sure, I'll follow those all just perfectly. There's a blue, and then a lavender, and then down here is another kind of a teal, so I'm just going to do it green with a lot of white. Sideways. I'm not so sure I followed that just exactly right, because I have an extra one up here besides this orange. That's probably should have been purple and that was orange, but it's okay. It's sprinkles. You can do them any colors you want. You can put as many as you want. Oops. Press that a little hard. All right, now sprinkles are not very shiny. They're kind of a matte finish, if you want to say that. And so we can just leave those. If you wanted to, you could actually come back in and do a little shine on them with like a white gel pen or something on those lines. But there we go. There's our frosting and there's our sprinkles. I hope you guys can see that. Your picture will be in your email on what we're going to be working on. And I know you all have a set of colors, so even if you don't have like lavender and teal, just pick a blue and a light purple like I did. So here we go. Let's get this one, week 1, get it transferred and get the frosting done. Next week, we're going to work in all of our cake and this little package that it comes in, the little wrapper. All right. Have a great day.